I did not open.
Yeah, I know.
It is 6:08, and I have a quorum. And he's ready, watching for you.
Okay. Oops. Gotta open it. Okay, it is 6:02. I call this meeting to order, and we do have a quorum this evening. Thank you guys for joining us as well. Would you like to lead us in the pledge? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Vivian symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
All right, thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it. Tonight we do have Mrs. Batista, myself, and Miss Nancy Miles for the minutes. Item 3, consent agenda. Do we have a motion to consent the agenda and a second?
I motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Motion by Ms. Batista and a second by Mrs. Miles. Motion passes. 3B, consideration to approve minutes of previous meetings, regular board meeting on January 12th, 2026, and special board meeting January 20th, 2026.
I move we approve the minutes of the regular board meeting on January 12th.
Okay, we have a motion, and do we have a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion passes. Item 4, reports, construction report 4A.
Okay, just a little, I guess, knowledge piece on the consent agenda. You only need to pass the consent agenda as a whole. So you don't have to, not all the items. Essentially, the consent agenda encompasses things you would typically pass. And so somebody may pull that off, something off of that consent agenda, but typically you can pass it with one motion.
Okay, so okay.
So in terms of new school construction, you guys should have had some pictures, hopefully. We've made some great progress in the last month in terms of new school build. So this first picture you're looking at, we have selected the site of our current middle school site based upon a lot of looking at what's best for our school in general, as well as what site can hold the needs for our building. You'll see on this picture, you'll see the Dexter Middle School piece in black, and then you'll see the white piece of the middle school with the lines through it. So this is a 2-phase project, so that way we don't have to interrupt middle school learning. And so the first phase, we would take all of the white, including the old gym, down first, and then we do have enough classrooms, as well as utilizing a few of the high school classrooms to utilize that one wing of the Dexter Middle School to begin with. So this just showing kind of an aerial view of what that would look like. The round building is also tied to the middle school. So currently it would stay up for phase 1. Wonderful. So here is a more detailed drawing of what new build would look like. This picture really looks at exclusively the drop-off pickup piece of that. So that to me is a really important piece. If you've ever been here during pickup or drop-off in the afternoon for just middle school and high school kids currently, it is a lot of kids everywhere, and we have had elementary school before, and that is doubling essentially the size of the number of parents picking and dropping off. So you will notice Decker did a really good job of, this was to me our biggest need for them was we need to get kids off of Lincoln, and we need to have a really good flow system of students being able to be picked up, dropped off with school buses as well. And so this drawing, you'll see that they will come off of Lincoln here, and we'll have a parent lane, and then we'll also have a bus lane here, so that way kids can load. Kids will be able to load and unload off the back side, and then they'll exit on Butler. With this, we will be able to gate it off during the school day, so we won't have parents being able to come and go, community members, anyone we don't want, being able to be at the back of the school. But this kind of gives us a view of what does it look like in terms of vehicles around the school. We also, you'll notice, we'll have a visitor parking lot here, which is much needed for all of our games, whether it's football or for basketball games. This centralized parking is essential because currently most of our people are parking on the street. But with this, it also gives us an option of having high school pickup in which it is funneled specifically as well. So that way we're not having currently the traffic from everyone both ways. And we'll be able to guide traffic a little bit differently than currently, as we just have parents picking up the kids texting their parents and they just jump in somewhere. Lastly, we have and this is still being currently worked on in terms of what the building will look like and specific spaces. But here's an idea. One centralized entrance here. As you notice, most kids will be picked up, dropped off at the back. So we still have entrances that are separate from each other. Here in green, you'll notice that we have admin spaces. Priority for us was to have the gymnasium middle school up front and center because it is utilized in the community in lots of different ways. It's also close to the parking lot across the street, so easily accessible. We then have a middle school wing that's by itself, and then you'll notice elementary wing also. That way we can keep the separation. That was a big thing to the committee, is to ensure that, not that we don't want to mingle students, but that only intentionally do we have students intermingling based upon the needs of the time. So we're still working on this. This is kind of where we're at in terms of specific spaces. We're digging into what this looks like. At this time, we still can make changes to everything. So if you guys can make our meetings, Ms. Miles, you and Ms. Koblos, if we have, which we will next week, have another all committee meeting. If you guys can make those, that's where we're making those decisions in terms of what does this need to look like and information. Is there any questions, thoughts?
No, it looks good.
Yeah, can you go down to the second one, that one? Right next to the parking lot, what's the plan for that one-story
So
building?
this is our one-story building. This is going to be considered our CTE space.
Oh, nice.
So it'll house our middle school CTE as well as
Yeah.
some space for elementary school to do some exploratory STEM stuff.
Gotcha.
We have not built out that space in general yet. We do know we have a need for, I want to call it home ec, but for culinary in terms of where we're currently located, as well as aligning that middle school all the way through high school. And so that's a priority for that space, as well as technology.
Got you. And then the multi-purpose field is just big field for PE, whatever, practice.
Yes, there's some specific names with PSFA that you must adhere to in terms of ensuring that they will help pay for the beautification of sites. And so with multi-purpose, we can utilize it for PE class, recess if the teacher wants to take their kids out there, lunch or anything else.
Nice. So they're pulling out all the old tennis courts.
Yes, everything will be removed at that point on the second phase there.
Cool. Got it.
Awesome.
So if you would like to donate, we would love, racquetball or
Pickleball?
pickleball.
Yeah.
We'll put in a court for you there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any further?
So
It is,
Good.
in 1 month, we
a lot
have
more fluid. Yeah.
made a lot of,
Different event.
Yes.
We have a question now, is there a playground?
Yes.
Yes, and so currently this was an elementary school playground here. We haven't necessarily in terms, once we have specific classrooms, then we'll be able to lead it out to our pre-K playground, in which will be separate. And then the majority of this playground will be utilized by elementary. But we do know that middle school sometimes needs a space as well. So we've even looked through, like, what does playground equipment look like? It appears upper third grade to eighth grade can kind of utilize most of the same playground equipment. So as we get ready to purchase, that's also something that we want to ensure that we can use it in a multitude of ways. So we'll also look at our littles, one and two, if we need specialized equipment. We have taken this as well to fire and our police department, just to look at what does it look like for safety concerns. How do they enter the building? What do they need to ensure that if there was a fire or if there was a safety measure, what does that look like? And so we've taken some of those into account when we do playground equipment at the back. It'll be important that we can get a fire truck in there. So playground equipment placement will be important at that time. Any?
Awesome. Very exciting.
1 month can do a lot. And I think in the next month, we'll have some solid plans, as well as a plan for Decker to come down and present this to community. And we will invite all community to come and just give us feedback, because at this time we can still make changes. And it's important that if we choose to do that, we do it now in this phase versus when we get into the phase where we're actually out of schematic design and it's more construction.
Thank you.
See if I can get this.
Okay, student teacher report. Item 4, student teacher report, middle school opening ceremony team.
And they are here to present our middle school FFA group. They competed last week, and so go ahead if you.
You all look very nice.
The meeting room will now come to order. We are now holding a meeting of the Dexter FA chapter. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they're at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Sentinel.
Station by the door.
Your duties there.
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is our duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the president in maintaining order.
The reporter.
Stationed by the flag,
Why by the flag?
as the flag covers the United States of America. So I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The treasurer.
Stationed by the emblem of Washington,
Your duties there.
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there.
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I've been asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is the symbol of labor and tillage of soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I presided the meeting in the absence of our president, whose place is to meet the rising sun.
And why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
There are 9 members and numerous guests present, Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess.
May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this meeting of the Dexter FFA chapter duly open for the transaction of business or attend to any matters which should properly be presented. We have some announcements from our time at New Mexico Leadership Conference. I would like to recognize my fellow members of the opening and closing ceremonies team who competed at Junior High Leadership Contest, representing Dexter FFA and the New Mexico FFA District 5. When I call your name, please stand. Alyssa Dees, Vice President. Manny Carrasco, Secretary. Camila Escobedo, Treasurer. Aubrey Prieto, Reporter. Keely Ragland, Sentinel. Aiden Sombrano, Student Advisor. As well as our alternates that memorized multiple parts, Kimmy Rodriguez, Manny Carrasco, and Rodrigo Rivas. We also want to recognize our junior high Creed contestants that represented Dexter FFA and New Mexico FFA District 5, Diego Sanchez, Keely Ragland. And finally, we would like to congratulate the following Dexter members of their accomplishments from this weekend. Jesse Hill, 5th in prepared speech. Melanie Martinez, 2nd in Spanish Creed. We would like to thank our school administration, district administration, and the school board for your continued support of the Dexter FFA program.
Mr. President,
The chair recognizes the reporter.
I move to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
It is moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. The ayes have it, motion passes. Mr. Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted? Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn this meeting of the Dexter FFA chapter. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join in salute to our flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now declare this meeting adjourned.
Congratulations to all
Yes,
of you.
congratulations. That was wonderful. I needed that. I like it.
I know. We could take, we could take a
right,
note
right.
from that for sure.
Were we
Feel
take-
free to
were we
come up
taking
here and
notes?
run.
Yes.
Thank
Awesome.
you guys for coming.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
What's your
Very
next step? What
Oh, what
happens
is our
next?
next step? Well, for this part, we're done, but I'm hoping like with the 8th grade team that we have here, we can move into something as Green has called conduct of meeting, which would be opening ceremonies, 3 basic motions, 1 privileged motion, and then a motion to adjourn, and then closing ceremony. But then we've also already started our career developments practices. We've been going strong at those now for about 2 weeks. And we currently have about 53 members showing up weekly to practice on 21 teams.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Wow.
really
That is
exciting.
awesome.
That's
If you have
impressive.
nothing to do on Monday or Tuesday nights, they're there till 7, so stop by.
Come on over. We've got horticulture, landscape design, nursery. Let's see over there right now is dairy, ag, food science, Whoever shows up.
So question, how many of you are just like, oh my gosh, FFA, I want to do it? Like, so, okay, all of you. None of you were just like, I don't know what this is. A friend just drugged me into this. No, no one wanted to do it. Very good. Nice. What were
That's
some of
awesome.
your big takeaways from your competition? What did you guys learn the most? Or see something that you liked and said, I want to figure that out?
I think like maybe like getting more confidence, like getting more involved in FFA,
Uh-huh.
and like wanting to like continue with it, like go bigger.
Great.
It's very cool.
It was like not being scared to do other competitions and not fearing what other people think about it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I really like the competition. I think it's really cool how they do get places, and I really, really want to compete in P or anything like that, and hopefully win first place to go compete at nationals.
Oh yeah, it'd be fun. Indianapolis every year, right?
It depends on the contest. So last spring, we took 2 different teams and 8 students to right outside Oklahoma City for land and home sites. And then they took 4 students to national conventions in Indianapolis for farm business management. Really cool. And we'd like to take a couple more teams. Actually,
That's awesome.
So question, who knows what the number one fear in the world is? No? Nobody knows? Public speaking.
Yeah.
So dying is the number 2 fear. Public speaking is the number 1 fear. And so it's really fun, right? Like, cause I work with people all over the nation and there's a ton of people who are absolutely terrified to do what you just did, right? To stand up, to project, to stand tall. And so that was very well done. So well done. Kudos to you guys. I imagine that took a lot of poking and prodding.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very well done. It's a skill that you will truly need everywhere you go. It will make people look at you differently. So well done.
That's awesome.
Thank you for presenting
Yes.
for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
This
Thank
is
you very
an
much.
option if y'all would like to have this at the March in MSBA
Would you be
meeting.
willing to do that? Oh, I think that'd be wonderful.
Mhm.
I agree.
Do you know about the March regional meeting?
Actually, I looked at our search and we can offer that today. But I know that's coming. When is that?
March 23rd.
Well,
And it's board members that come from all over this region of New Mexico. And so it's a gathering of board members and state level board members as well. And we meet in the spring and in the fall. And each district takes a turn hosting it. They do it alphabetically. So we're up. It's ours.
Well, and I'm gonna just, while we're talking about it with the students, I wanted the students to understand, our members, that it's a really great opportunity for you to show the power of FFA.
Yes.
And it's this district, I tell them all the time, this district, we're incredibly fortunate because we have such a strong presence and we have such a strong support system in this district. And I've been other places where we don't have that. But once other school boards see student-led career and technical organization, it makes a big difference. And it makes a big difference within the building, and it makes a big difference with how administrators and school board members and community members look at the opportunities that we're trying to provide our kids through strong CTS.
Mhm.
And with FFA strongest, it's currently, what was it you looked at today? Over 1.2 million members nationwide. And this is the largest CTSO organization in the nation. And the more support we can garner for our fellow chapters, the stronger our state becomes, the stronger our agricultural base becomes, and the more students we have that are career ready.
And the more leaders we have, I mean, if we want to grow in agriculture, we need the leadership from you guys, somebody that's not afraid to grab it and run with it. And then you can always get somebody to help you and build that strong foundation underneath you so that we can all continue to grow. But it does take a very strong leader to actually lead the pack in any department, so.
And so when we have the meeting, it is a dinner. And in the evening, and a part of it every time is a student presentation. And traditionally, the students from that school, I know when we were in Roswell, there were multiple schools that presented, but we would be honored if you guys would be willing to do that. Make your presentation that night on behalf of your chapter. That would be very cool. And you don't have to necessarily commit 100% tonight. You can look at the date.
Well, actually, they were pretty excited.
Okay.
Okay, then you can commit tonight. That's okay.
Yep. Awesome.
I'm actually really so proud.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
You're gonna fix it, right? You gotta learn how to speak in. I don't know.
I know, I bet.
Very cool.
Awesome. Hello, Ms. Lopez.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Okay, item 4, C, board reports, which we have them on there.
Mhm.
We don't need to go over them unless anybody would like to address anything out of them, but
But then also board report from our training this last week.
wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was trying to blow right through that. So yeah. Board reports. Okay, thank you. Yes, so on for board reports, we attended the NMSBA and we learned quite a bit. Always appreciative to attend those. It is very hard to get away. One for from our families and work, and it's nice to get away a day, but myself, I'm a homebody, so after like day 1, I'm ready to come home because I know my kids and my wife are helping out with the chores. So, but we did learn quite a bit, and we did network. Very excited to develop some of those relationships that I and Miss Molly Pierce were able to touch base with, and hopefully we can bring that to you guys real soon with further knowledge and the strategic planning, all that kind of stuff. It's just super cool. Okay. Where I don't 4D superintendent report.
Okay, so to start the superintendent report with, while we were gone to the NMSBA, we had several members receive awards, and so we will present those. For exemplary award, this is for the hours that board members each have to attend. And so based upon the number of hours that you've attended, there's like levels in terms of the base level and as you go up. We had one member who is no longer with us, Miss Juanita, did 31 hours of training last year. So that's very impressive in terms of the number of hours. So the first one goes to Miss Nancy Miles, and she received an exemplary award for earning more than 20 hours as a board member. So, actually these all, they even match
you.
the cute little.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And then again, Miss Juanita Segovia, she received an exemplary award. Miss Kelly Cobos received an exemplary, an outstanding leadership award, completed 36 cumulative training hours at level 2. Miss Linda Lopez also completed 36 hours of training. Louis Davalos received 2 awards, one for exemplary training and then one for leadership achievement for level 1. So your level 1, your first year that you are a board member, and you have to attend 10 hours of training. And then after that, it's 5 hours of training for every consecutive year. So our board, second boards that everybody met the mandatory training requirements. So
Out of 80,
Awesome.
out of 80,
Out of 80, they didn't say, I think,
87, I think it was.
I do believe, I think that's right. So pretty impressive in terms of these board members really do go to the trainings that, and more than they actually need to learn. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you guys for all your hard work and going to these meetings. Andrea, I set the bar kind of high, so yeah. Awesome.
She's like, I didn't hear.
Listen, I have a lot more.
Challenge
Oh.
accepted.
That's just
Yeah.
number one.
Okay, okay.
I'd like to give a shout out to substitutes. Multiple times this year already. I lost count when we got to about October. We've had more than 15 subs pick up. There was no subs, no date last year in which we needed 15 subs in one single day. So that's impressive in terms of we have our subs that are showing up for us when we really need them. We still have days in which we have a few openings in which we have to use our people from within, but I would say like thank you to all of our subs for that. Because if we can get 15 of them here in one day, that's a pretty impressive number. We have begun access testing for our ELL students. DHS is currently working with Future Focused Education to complete the graduate profile. So some of you might remember we had meetings on that previously. We have touched base back with them now, and they're going to help us complete the entire piece of that. There's a lot more than just the basic profile of a graduate. And so what we'll do is we'll use that profile of a graduate that we've already created, as well as if we need to revisit when they come back, and fully flush that process all the way through. So we'll have that to share with you guys. Accreditation, you guys have the PD clarification about board training. I'm going to give just a little summary on that. Any new board member who is elected and opts to come to the December meeting, so Andrea did, those hours will count for the following school year. So she did receive those hours that will count towards this next school year, because that was a concern that if we're sending these new people, are they actually getting to count those hours, because they do fall at the end of a cycle for accreditation. So the rest of you, once you've already served your initial term, December hours only go towards that current school year.
Wow. Yep.
So that's just important. If we do need to get a few hours, December is our last chance to do that, but new board members have that opportunity.
So it goes from January to
December. Yes, it is not the same as the school year, which is kind of odd, but we will keep up with it. The other new piece is, for those of you who haven't been December or February, they do QR codes for everything. And whenever you scan the QR code, put the code in, fill out all of their information, they send you an email stating that you initially did that. If you would forward those to me, I'm keeping them in a file. Last year, we did need to fight essentially to ensure that Lewis's hours counted in the right place. So if we have that information, we're able to at least collect it in case at the end somebody says we didn't attend the number of hours that we needed, and we'll have documentation.
Do you need those for this past December meeting?
If you have them, if not, just for future, I think it would be good if we just collected them.
Probably deleted all of those.
So it's okay. I just was a thought that came up, and I think it would be nice if we could keep those together for the purpose that
Your stuff may have already posted, right, online?
I don't believe it has, but that doesn't mean that it has or hasn't.
Just because initially they said that we were like low on hours, right? And then,
Yeah.
But everybody may.
and then
so we're
we,
good.
yeah.
New Mexico Vistas, we did share those last meeting, and we've shared them previously as well. But it was a new PED requirement to place those vistas in the newspaper. And so we had by February 8th to get those in there. And so I also included that memo. We did put it in the paper in Roswell. That is something that superintendents in general will probably fight in the future, because the newspaper is really somewhat of an outdated source for a lot of readers. The other thing is it's really expensive for school districts. We were lucky. We put in a 5x9 and it costs $700 in color. A lot of our other school districts were paying upwards of 2,000 or more. So something that we are aware of that is not necessarily accessible for all. And then we do have some school districts that also don't necessarily have a local paper. Then current job postings, we have middle school Skills for Success EA. Just a reminder, Skills for Success is what we used to consider life skills. So that way, in case you're wondering about that classroom, we have educational library assistant at the high school, substitute teacher, substitute custodian, and volunteer coach are currently posted. Positions that we have not posted based upon awaiting budget: elementary school library EA, social studies teacher at the middle school. So we're waiting budget, and we are probably going to be about a month behind than usual because of the session is a shorter session, yes, but they pushed the SEG for January back to February date. And so we just anticipate everything to also move backwards from that. So we are prepared to continue to look at that. CES plan, in terms of strategic planning, I just kind of need some options in terms of dates that we would like to kind of get started. A day of the week that works better for you guys as we look towards strategic planning. I think we should get on this sooner rather than later. We have the quote, everything is good to go, but we just need to set the initial date to get everyone together.
I have more flexibility than anyone, so you guys work around your schedules and
Do we need to check with them and see what openings they have available for the rest of the month, or
I guess if you guys would kind of give me like Mondays are the best for us towards the end of February, and that way I could kind of stick towards a parameter, not necessarily a certain date, but that would make it more flexible in terms of, I mean, obviously we won't do it
day of the
on
week.
on the board meeting, but if there is an option in which,
and I'd have to check again. So the first meeting, is it going to be a virtual meeting, or is it going to meet for a few hours, or
we will meet in person.
because I believe it was like a 2-day workshop, wasn't it?
So, and it is spread out a little bit in terms of the amount.
And first one would be within February.
I think that it would be best if we could get on it. If we need to push it out to March, we definitely can. But just a reminder, March 23rd is the NMSBA regional meeting that we have. And then we also have a spring break in there as well. So I will be at spring budget during spring break. So
Really, for the most part, my schedule is pretty flexible. I just have 2 dates that I'm out of town in March. But otherwise, February is clear. I can work. I can easily flex my hours at work because there's nothing pending. We
okay.
just had all of our interim corporate budget stuff last week, so I'm clear.
So the initial is a school district needs assessment. And so I think with that, after work would be preferable for us to get a really large community pool with that. I think that's important for us to add that, you know, we really want community input in this plan because that's what this is. It's bridging all of these ideas and putting them together for the district. But that's the first piece is the district's needs assessment.
I am booked all of next week, but I'm open the following week. So from the 23rd through the 27th, I'm.
And does Monday work best for you guys? Is there
Monday's
other day
clear.
that's best?
Yeah, I don't have anything set in my work schedule for the next couple weeks. That can't
I
be.
don't either, but I'm pending a date for a funeral, so it just depends on, I won't know until hopefully by Wednesday. So I don't know. I really don't know, just because if we know by Wednesday, depending on how they set it, because family's coming out of town, I don't know if it'll run into that
Okay.
either next week or the following week.
Okay.
Other than that, I'll be okay. That's my only thing pending right now, that I just really don't know the date
Okay.
for that.
I will give Mr. Chavez a call tomorrow, have some dates that he can, and then I'll disseminate that information to you all, and that way we have some options if that
Perfect.
works.
Yep.
And then all of our Dexter special education teachers received IEP writing training 2 weeks ago on Friday. So important in terms of us all collectively starting to merge what our IEPs look like from now on. So we have a standard one. And then the last piece, March 23rd, the NMSBA. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
March 23rd, it's here, right?
Yes.
We're hosting it.
At the Dexter Elementary School.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, item 5, public forum, 3-minute timeline per presenter. It looks like we do have. Yes, okay, perfect. All right, public comment and observation regarding non-agenda items that fall within the purview of the board are considered at this time. Comments regarding matters under litigation will not be allowed, and no action will be taken on items presented, but may be referred to staff or other. Okay, looks like we have Mrs. McGarrett. There you go. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Mr. Bill Follows, Peters Board, thank you for allowing me to address you today. Did want to quickly also mention that I attended the Valentine's dance at the elementary with my kiddos, if that was a lot of fun, so thanks for hosting. Nice. I'm here to talk about the importance of our elementary library and the need for a dedicated elementary librarian. While libraries are important at every level, I strongly believe that the greatest impact of a librarian is at the elementary level, where foundational reading habits are formed. Right now, the accelerated reader program at the elementary level appears to be falling by the wayside for many students, especially those who enjoy goals, structure, and challenges. AR is a powerful motivator. It encourages independent reading, builds comprehension, and gives kids a sense of accomplishment. When it's implemented consistently, it helps students develop confidence and a genuine love of reading. Unfortunately, what we're seeing instead is that many students are going to the library and quite often not even getting the opportunity to check out books. In some cases, library time is being spent on activities like coloring pages rather than reading books or book selection. While there is certainly a place for creativity, library time should primarily be about access to books, guidance in choosing appropriate reading material, and fostering literacy. An elementary librarian does more than manage books. They actively guide students, support classroom learning, track reading progress, and help ensure programs like AR are used effectively. This kind of support is especially critical in the early years when reading skills are developing and when positive experience with books can shape a child's academic future. Additionally, programs like AR are a great way to involve families. They give parents a concrete way to engage with their children's learning, talking about books, tracking progress, and reading together at home. We should always be looking for opportunities to strengthen the partnership between schools and families. And reading is one of the most effective and accessible ways to do that. I respectfully ask the board to consider prioritizing an elementary librarian position and strengthening elementary library services. Investing in literacy at the youngest levels is an investment that pays off for years to come for students, families, and the entire school system. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. Item 6, business. 6A, approval of policy change on at G-2550, professional and support staff sick leave.
So I recommend that we approve this policy change. There's no change in the number of days. It's just a change from, we currently give all days at the very beginning of a contract. And with that, we've seen people who don't necessarily even make it through 1 year of that contract, and they utilize all of those days in one fell swoop. And so with this, we would like to provide two earned personal days at the very beginning of the school year, and then this is speaking about teachers because it does change based on 12-month employees. They would get those in July. The first 10th that you actually work, then you would start accruing those days one at a time. And we would accrue, teachers would accrue through April because that would get their 9 days accrued. So they would 1 a month essentially. They do rollover days. That was a question that one of you did ask me. But really the only change to the actual policy looks at how they get those days. And a lot of jobs do accrue. So just kind of matching some of that as well.
So is that across the board for everybody or?
That is across the board for everyone. So the only change would be anybody who's a 12-month employee and they begin July, their first date. And if you look at the policy, let me pull the policy up just that way I have that in front of me. You'll notice that our 12-month employees, they receive 12 days. So they'll start July. It'll go all the way through June. 10-month employees will begin July. It'll run through April as well, because they'll go July. And then our 9-month employees will go from August to April.
So then as a 12-month employee, I would be getting 2 personal days right away and then accrue the rest?
So everybody, 12-month employees will also get their 2 earned personal days that they receive in July, just like everyone else. They already accrue, I want to call it vacation, annual leave every month anyways. Our annual leave is not given at the beginning of the time. So now we'll just also accrue 1 day of sick as well. They won't receive that up front either.
I move we approve policy change G2550, professional support staff sick leave.
Okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Miles. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second by Mrs. Batista. Motion and a second. Passes. Item 6B, approval of policy change I-7100, class rankings, grade point averages.
So I also recommend approval for this policy. This policy has a couple of errors in terms. Previously, it said each year one senior will be honored with the title of valedictorian and one senior will be honored with the title of salutatorian. Upon completion of their academic course requirements for graduation, the following guidelines will be used. And this is the piece that was a little off. Students having the highest combined weighted and non-weighted cumulative grade using actual percentage earned through his or her 4 years. So with that language, it was using GPA as well as averages of 98, 97. So combining those, and in which you really can't combine a GPA with a percentage grade. And so we have taken it and hopefully worded it in which we will use GPA, in which it's easy to read, understand. Anyone tomorrow who came in and would need to do that job would be able to follow this as the policy to use GPA as how we calculate standings in classrooms. Mostly it's our high school that looks at. So was there any questions on the policy changes?
Thank you for clarifying that.
No, I think this makes it more clear and straightforward. I do think it would be easier later on down the road if we looked at doing it, just because if you get a lot of kids that come through together that, they're that group and they're all very competitive and they're all taking those same courses and the same AP courses, don't know that you'll get enough separation by just using a GPA scale. So it might work to go by just a weighted percentage scale, but otherwise, I think this is a clear and simple way to improve this policy for now. Yeah. Have it cleaned up for this upcoming year.
I would agree. I looked at it pretty closely yesterday and I think it makes sense. So, okay. Is there a motion? Second,
I move we approve policy change 1-7100, the class rankings and grade point average.
okay, we have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Miles. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second by Mrs. Batista. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Let me see, 7, finance and facilities. 7A, approval of January bills and payroll.
I recommend that you approve the January bills and payroll.
Second.
Any questions?
I'll second.
I can't make the
Yeah,
motion.
so you can make the motion, yes.
I recommended.
Yes.
I move that we approve the January bills and payroll.
And I'll second.
Motion,
I'm
we have-
sorry, I thought you said that.
Oh, no, I did. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So motion passes. Item B, approval of budget adjustments. Any questions or,
I move that we approve the budget adjustments.
okay, we have a motion by Ms. Batista. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Ms. Miles. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item C, approval of security cameras at high school, I'm sorry.
So you have the quote for the, oh, go ahead, Chris.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
he's ready.
So currently the cameras we have at the high school, around the high school and stuff, we still have a lot of holes in it. So there's a lot of blind spots around the district. Plus our cameras are, our software system, whatever it's called, is starting to be out of date. We're trying to update that. Bring in a little bit more into the current, plus it'll help us do everything in the future as far as the new builds go. So that's what we're trying to do there.
So what's the quality of the camera? Is it pretty clear, color, black and white?
No, they'll be color. I mean, I can't get into too much of the specifics because
Yeah.
that's up to Mike.
Yep.
I'm not too versed on if they're gonna be 2K or 4K or whatever.
Okay.
The powerful component is in scrubbing timeline when you're looking for a certain event.
Okay.
You can pick a person with a certain shirt or a person and it automatically grabs all the instances of that person.
Okay.
And so that's a powerful component of how much time our people spend looking through footage trying to find some event.
Say if you're looking for a little girl with a red shirt, you put in there a little girl with a red shirt, and it'll pop up, 10 different screens of where it was and last seen. and all that.
Okay.
It'll also do firearm detection, and then we can pay for the next one where it actually pick up the license plates. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, and that's how you guys went with, they're going with Cat 6 rather than Cat 5 on all the wiring, and is that brand new wiring across all of it, or just replacing what?
Is that, well, they'd be replacing a bunch of it, but they'd also be adding in what's needed, because like I said, there is some holes in some spaces that we feel.
Okay.
So it'll be much better than the elementary school ones that never got replaced. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so question with this also, the budget for this, I understand you guys,
This is coming out of HB, what's the number on it? The newest safety and security.
We have about 530 or so in there was our award.
So in November, we approved that, and it needs to be used on safety security. You can use some of it on CTE as well, but the majority of it is safety security funds, so.
okay.
And then do we have to pay for like any monthly access to
Like
servers or,
subscription?
yes?
No.
No? Just ties into systems that we already have in place here.
Just curious on this, what's the memory on it you know, that you can go back on? Because I know.
30 days, I think is what, I think you can actually go back farther if,
Yeah, it depends on our storage. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
usually it's about 30 days.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
Does this work with all the cameras we got a few years back?
So it will, so we're gonna be using a lot of the existing cameras, but we're also bringing in some new cameras also.
Will it also scan the footage from the bus cameras?
No, ma'am. So that's totally different. I'm not sure, Jonathan, you know how that's.
Totally different.
And they're all separate individuals. So in terms of any footage on a bus, you physically have to take computer or plug into that specific computer. Those are not remote accessed.
It's too bad.
I don't know.
So, the cameras that were just bought, you said the software or something was going to be outdated. What is the span of software for the new ones that we're gonna get, or are we gonna have to?
No, so from what they've told me, and Jonathan, please correct me if I'm wrong. The software they're using now it's always being updated. So, you know, we've already bought it, so we always get the updates. Kind of like buying a computer almost, and you just go there and you update it as it comes time. So we won't have to purchase more software later on or anything else. We'll just be using that. Now, I'm not saying that in the future, we're not gonna have to replace cameras because y'all know just as well as I do how technology changes, so. But as of right now, we're looking, what I think they said, what, 10, 15 years down the road before we possibly even have to change, you know, cameras or upgrade cameras unless something else broke.
Do they have any kind of like warranty or anything like that for?
As far as,
For the cameras, like if they need to be replaced because they're damaged or anything like that? Do you know?
so that all goes back to as far as, you know, if it's a manufacturer issue, yes, they would, they do. If it's because I get mad and throw a rock at a camera, no, we're not gonna replace it.
Okay. Any more questions or?
Does it give you everything you want?
I think so, yes, ma'am. Jonathan?
Yeah, should be good. I mean, a big part of it is just the holes, right? Every time something happens, it's always in the spot where you don't have a camera.
Right.
That's just how it goes. And so
Yeah.
that's a big part of this. And so as we're trying to fill in the holes, we may as well take advantage of that opportunity and switch to a newer software that does more of this recognition stuff for you to make the process of finding specific events easier. So that's part of why the change. Software.
And this system, so with the new build, this will tie into.
So with the new build, we are hoping to go with APEC, which is the company that we also are already using for all the key card replacements at the high school that you guys have already approved. We'll go one system because currently we're using two different systems. So we'll streamline and utilize one system. They also do our fire alarms.
This will integrate nice.
Yes. And we've utilized them in terms of coming and fixing things, and they are readily available. So which makes a big difference.
Okay. Any other questions?
You know,
Well, motion. In a second, maybe.
I move we approve the security cameras at the high school.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Ms. Miles. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second by Ms. Lopez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Item 7D, approval of speech language pathologist.
So we currently utilize the REC for all of our ancillary staff. With that being said, we're kind of at their mercy sometimes in terms of they do us Hagerman, Lake Arthur, Loving, and even some Artesia. The issue that we're coming into is our little K1, 2, a lot of them are still having to do online speech. And we really need to move away from online if any way possible. So we're asking to be able to advertise for a speech language pathologist position in which the district would pay directly. So this is not a change in funds because we already spend this money on a speech language pathologist at the REC. We just would now house them here and we would be their employer versus the REC contract them or be their employer. So we have a little more room in terms of what that looks like. They can do all of our testing, but also our highest need population, we could ensure that they're receiving services in person. And that's really important now. The other thing is we are supposed to be also servicing the daycare currently because those kids fall under our purview as well. Right now, the REC doesn't have a way in which they contract in which we can do that service. And so this would also allow us to partner with them as well and provide that service that those students during the day as well need, so I do think this is needed for us to have some control back on speech language pathologists. Currently, we're at 2.8 FTE that we hire from the REC. So we would just take one of those back for some control here to meet needs of students. I did include the salary schedule. We currently do have a salary schedule for them. Our DIAG is the only other person on it, but every year we continue to just update that ancillary staff. So it's always the same. So it is already on there and I provided that for you.
Okay. And this REC, we'd be paying out of the same fund, same.
It comes out of operational. But we also, it's all operational because we don't split any of that.
Our state special ed funding flows through operational budget through the SEG.
Okay, so just maybe I'm misunderstanding. So we're putting the elementary EA and the social studies for the middle school on hold due to budget, but we have the budget for the speech language pathologist.
The speech language pathologists we're already paying. We're just paying the money to the REC. And so they have control over that person. So instead of that, we would just pay them directly here. So there's no change in funds. Because we actually have 2.8 FTE of speech language pathologists. Now we would still contract 1.8 with the REC and we would have one here in-house.
So how does that work with, since if we're going to have them here now, we got to do like the benefits and all of that.
So currently with the pay scale that we have, we are paying them enough at the REC to meet that need. So we do pay extra as well as 10%.
We pay their benefits plus REC's
fee, and I think it's 10% REC fee for them to bill that as well.
I would truly like to see us have all of our services.
I that would be nice. I don't foresee us some of the services that OT or PT, we have less than 10 students on service, and we're talking about somebody who has a doctorate degree as well. Those services I can foresee us always having to contract. It would be nice if we were able to hire and kind of build up to that need. My other worry about going straight to we want to hire 2.8 FTE and have all of our speech language pathologists in-house is what happens if we don't get those people hired. Right now, if we slowly bring them on, we're not just telling the REC, hey, the other thing is we do have some speech language pathologists that they want to just contract. They're allowed to make their own time, their own need. So with that, the REC is a better place for them. So I don't think we'll pull those, but we're hopeful that we'll pull somebody from Roswell or neighboring schools that want to change possibly to 4-day a week, as well as I'll be calling Eastern. They have a school for school speech pathologists. And so maybe we can get some applicants out of there.
It would be nice to see something like that. Be able to service part of those
It's
things.
wonderful to have one in-house.
And especially if it's not gonna cost anything extra, you know, if we're already covering that, then that makes sense. Okay, there's a motion and a second.
I move that we approve, really, is it just advertising for now, or to pull a speech language pathologist in-house?
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have one yet.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second by Ms. Miles. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Okay. So now we have item 8, executive session. A motion to move into executive session. We will need a roll call for that. Mrs. Or we need a motion. Sorry, I'm working on this. I'm getting it.
I don't know any of it.
Yeah, we need to bring the FFA chapter back in here to help us do it.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So, okay, do we have a motion to go into executive session?
I move that we, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I move that we move into executive session.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Batista. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second by Mrs. Lopez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll need a roll call for this. Ms. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Batista,
Aye.
myself, aye. And Ms. Miles?
Aye.
Motion passes. We will, I guess, head into executive session, where we will be discussing, consideration of 10-15-1 H2 limited personnel matters, a discussion and review of superintendent evaluation and contract. Okay,
Thank you all.
thank you
for
guys very
coming
much.
tonight.
Appreciate it.